Just, after watching the tape, felt like defense really set the tone. You go three and out, safety, three and out, force punt. That's in the first half, so that gets you off to a pretty good start. And then offensively, we were able to capitalize on points, early in that game. And it's a little bit like what happened to us against Philly a week ago. So, we got a good lead and we were able to hold on to it. And, offensively, you rush for 191 yards for an 8 average. It's pretty good. And those guys up front did a good job. The backs did a good job. Golf got us into the right plays, and we had eight explosives, so run and pass. So that's pretty good. Special teams, our average start position on the field was a 35 versus theirs was a 23, so hidden yardage. And then net punt, 48-8 to their 42-7. So, really all three phases did their job. Things we got to clean up. Second half, communication, man, and we just in the back end we got to clean some things up defensively, and then offensively, third down and fourth down, we didn't do a good job. We didn't convert when we needed to. We got to be better there. And then special teams, we were doing some good things, but there's a couple of those returns that popped out on us. But all in all, it was a good win for our guys.
That line, one of the veterans, what was his role in help setting the tone for the defense?
Yeah, look, I thought Charles did some really good things, but to me, the safety really, the sack fumble, I felt like that sequence, I felt like was the difference in the game. When you look back and there's so many plays that make a difference that you think but when you go back and really watch it, it started with the sack fumble for the safety. And then Leafs 52-yard return, and then we capitalize on a touchdown. That's a 9-point swing. We won by 9. So that little sequence there, I felt like was a difference in the game. So, and Charles started that.
How valuable is it to have a running back and a wide receiver both who can be go-to guys and big play guys for you?
Yeah, it's big. Anytime you're halfback, let me start there. Your running back is a guy who can do both, is an explosive athlete that can hurt you in the run and in the pass game. That's trouble for a defense, and it gives you a lot of flexibility offensively. And then on top of that, Saints got the ability to play a little bit of that in the backfield, which we haven't even really tapped into just yet. So there's a number of things we'll be able to do, but those two guys are pretty dynamic players for us. And then when you got those guys and you got, Reynolds and Shark on the perimeter and Hawk in the middle, Golf's got some weapons to go to. So.
You mentioned the running success. I think you guys are averaging 7.5 yards a carry for the season or something like that. And a big part of that is the receivers blocking. So as in your history, as a player, do you remember how often did you come across players, receivers who were too pretty to block, I guess, who didn't want to do that? And what did that do to a team versus the willingness that these guys have now and what that means to the running back?
Yeah, well, it is all the difference in the world. I remember there was about a 3 or 4 year period there where I used to do explosive runs. I'd do a study at the end of the year, and it was always two things: the running back and receivers blocking downfield. Those were the two things that were the common denominator in having those explosive runs. And so I've been on both. I've been around guys that are pretty good receivers, but man, they get after it in the run game, and it changes the attitude of your team. It just does, because those offensive linemen, man, they appreciate that, and the defense appreciates it. There's a toughness to it. So, and we got it here. And look, I think our coaches have done a great job. It's an emphasis for us, and they take ownership in it. It's a rite of passage here. But I credit Saint and Leaf to that too, man. I think they set the tone in that room with that, and it's expected. All those guys, and they've all bought in. Josh Reynolds is blocking guys, Shark's blocking guys. they're all doing it. So it's a good room.
So cultivated. Do you seek it out in guys, or can it be taught? Obviously you do stress it, Antoine.
Yeah, no, I think it can be taught, but I think also it's like to an extent, we got the right guys, if that makes sense.
To get a win in week two, to get a win in week two, we get to see a little bit of video of you guys inside the locker room celebrating. It seemed a little different than last year, almost like a relief last year to get the win when you guys finally did. What does it do to get a win in week two and to show, like you said, this is one, now let's keep building?
Well, I just think, listen, we've got the guys that are they're going to go to work, and no matter what happens, they're going to put in the work. They're going to try to get better. They're going to compete. So that's never going to be the issue. But to be able to get our win, man, early in the season, week two, you get early validation as to what we're doing, and we're doing that with really out all our bullets. We got some guys out, and it just everything that we've talked about. Next man up, do your job, help us win, and we did that with the guys that were available yesterday. The 48-man roster for game day. So I think it's big, but it's just I think it's validation that we're headed the right direction. These guys believe, and they're doing what we're asking them to do, and it's paying off.
Communication issues in the back end being an issue in the second half. Early last year, communications were a big issue in the secondary. Is there any overlapping themes to maybe why there's some struggles getting on the same page early in the season, and what do you need to do to get out of that?
Yeah, look, I think that some of it is there is a little communication. I said that there is, but some of it is I'm communicating and you're not listening to me. So there's a little bit of still discipline that we just gotta clean up, and with that, guys are getting better, and we were much better this week than we were last week. But man, we got work to do, and because doesn't mean they came out second half and did a good job. Listen, that's a team that's capable. It's an NFL team. They've won some games. They got good players, got good coaches, and they're going to make some plays, but man, you got to make them go the long, hard way. You can't give up the explosives we gave up just from our own errors, And so just these little things we got to clean up.
You had a lot of juggling along your offensive line, obviously the first 2 weeks. Just how impactful and how important has Hank been to that room?
He's been very important. Hank's got a good feel of it. Having played the position, but also coached it, and he's got a real good feel of those guys, what they do well, how to develop the talent, and he's got a real good feel of how to pull it out of them. I mean, that's one of the things. It's not always when you have played at this level like he has and played for a long time, and you're not the best athlete. Like I wasn't the best athlete, but you got to understand the technique. And you can give guys things that they need to survive, and that's what Hank's able to do. And so it's one thing to do that, but man, you got to be able to communicate, and you got to be able to motivate and push these guys. Because sometimes, man, when you're an ex-player, there's a lot of guys that'll start backing off and taking it easy because you feel a little bad for them, because you know what that's like. Man, that's hard, right? It's hard, but you can't do that. You got to continue to push, and he's got a good balance of that. So he's very important to us.
You guys had a few, Hutchinson and Kaminsky, I think both got a little bit of medical attention yesterday. I know Hutch finished the game, but just an update, how are those guys?
Yeah, we're getting Kamish, he had a hand, so he's getting checked out right now as we speak. And Hutch should be okay. He just had a little Charlie horse. He'll be tender, but he should be fine. Charles, we'll see, feels okay today. Who am I missing? Did you ask somebody else? Monty feels better today. We'll see where that's at. Frank feels a little bit better today. We'll see where that's at. And Jonah's, probably relatively the same as he was 2 days ago. So it's kind of day to day now.
Winning a game where you're challenged, there's big momentum swings, and you had to answer those in the second half. What's that mean to a team?
Yeah, it means a lot, and that's what I think I mentioned this last night. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but it wasn't that you knew they were going to come back and do something. They were going to be able to do a little bit of something. That's just the nature of this game, man, the ebbs and flows of it. And so it wasn't that. It was how we would respond to that, and I felt like we responded well to it. That's what was good. They climbed back in within almost one, and and we were able to answer back offensively, you know, and so, you know, we kept that lead and we hung in there, and we didn't let it, you know, we didn't crumble, and we didn't let the stress and the pressure, you know, break us. We hung in there and we finished the game. So that's what excites me more than anything about, you know, how it went down yesterday.
Are weird ones along the offensive line. A lot of times guys can play through them with taping them up or glove or whatever. How far away is Jonah from being able to play in a game with what he's dealing with?
Justin, it's a good question. It's honestly just kind of take it as it is. I mean, we'd like to see where he's at, you know, Wednesday maybe, see how it feels, see if it's something he feels like he can function with. And so we really won't know until it'll be something where he feels like he can function with it and have success.
I'm just curious, really quickly, your opponent plays tonight. Doesn't always work out that way. So I'm just curious, do you approach this tonight differently? Do you watch it as a coaching staff, or do you just wait for the second day of the tape?
Yeah, usually I'll watch it tonight. I'm going to watch it live. But most of the time, the coaches they'll still be game planning from what they've known from the preseason last week, and they'll probably have it on, you know, in their offices. That's what we always used to do. So they'll be kind of peeking it, and then, but really the deep dive will be, you know, late tonight, early morning when it gets into the system. When that game's in, you can really break it down and see it from coach view, not, you know, TV copy.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.